Hello everyone. Today we'll be seeing how to solve the bar problem using a RR method. So in the previous video session we have seen what is an RR method and what are the steps involved in finding out the solution for the displacement and stresses. So here the problem definition is being given. So we have taken a bar which is being subjected to an axial load and it has a constant area Young's modulus and a load P is being applied. So as it is an uniaxial load, we need to prove that at this particular point, okay, at this particular free end, the displacement equation is P by AE into X. I need to just prove that. Okay, so first we'll be going on step by step to formulate the RR method and try to determine the displacement of the body. Okay, so first step, what is the first step in the RR method is you have to formulate the potential energy functional, the potential energy functional. Okay, so we'll be doing this. So how to you know already what is the potential energy functional. So we know that potential energy functional is basically given as pi equal to strain energy plus work potential. Strain energy plus work potential. So strain energy is individually we have calculated. So this is a bar problem. So we'll be calculated what is strain energy for a bar. Already we have calculated. So it is given as AE by 2 integration for 1D, because we are interested in finding out the displacement of a this particular bar only in length direction. Okay, so 0 to L dou u by dou x the whole square into dx. So this is the whatever the strain energy is given for a bar problem. So next you hope you understood this. We have already calculated this. Okay, so if you want still more simplification detailing, you can see the previous video where how we have calculated the strain energy for a bar. You can easily get through that. So this is about the strain energy. We have written the first parameter, strain energy. Next comes work potential. So work potential is basically depend on the loading. So it is work done on the system by the external force. So if I see here, P is the load. Because of this P, we are getting the displacement U1. So what will be the work done? Force into displacement will be the work done. So already I have told you the work done is on the system. So we will be considering a negative term as a work done, because it is always work is done on the system. So the displacement which we are considering here is U1. Because of this load there is a displacement which is happening u1, so I'll write it as minus p into u1. So I'll combine them and I'll write the what do you called as pi. So pi is, I'll take strain energy as well as I'll take potential, work potential. So that is AE by 2 integration 0 to L dou u by dou x the whole square into dx. Okay, this is the strain energy minus, because there is a minus here, p into u1, p into u1. So next this is the first step which you need to write it. First you have to formulate the potential energy function, that is pi is equal to strain energy plus work potential. Then you have to write the strain energy for bar, because strain energy for bar is different, strain energy for beam is different. So this is a bar problem, we have to write the strain energy for the bar. So next you have to write the work potential, which is load into displacement. Okay, so this is the first step, we have done the first step. Next we have to assume the displacement, function, assume the displacement function. So how to assume the displacement function? I have already told you displacement function will be of two types. One is algebraic form and one more is the trigonometric form. So to this we'll be using an algebraic form, which is quite easy. Okay, so what it says is you have to assume a displacement function which satisfies the boundary condition. So here how to apply? See, because basically what is the displacement function which we will be writing first starts with a constant a0 plus a1x plus a2x square like plus a3x cube. So similarly it goes to an x raised to n, an x raised to n. You can assume n number of displacement function. So what is happening here is whenever you are assuming a displacement function, more the order of a displacement function, you will be getting higher accuracy. Okay, the equation will be highly accurate, but the problem comes here is to solve the unknown values, unknown constant values, that is a0, a1, a2, a3. You will require lot of data. If you don't have that much data, you can't solve that particular problem, and it will be very time consuming. So what is the step it says is assume the displacement function which satisfies the boundary condition, which means that you have to see the boundary conditions. What are the boundary conditions for a given problem? So how many boundary conditions are there? Those many constants you have to take. So for example, in a boundary conditions, there are two boundary conditions. One is a displacement boundary condition or the displacement constraint. One more is the load constraint. There are two types of boundary condition. One is a displacement constraint. One more is the load constraint. For this particular problem, if you see, this is a bar and one end is being fixed and one end there is a load being applied. So one end is being fixed means there is no displacement happening in this particular direction. So this is one constraint. Okay, this is one constraint, and as here it is free to move, I have to find out the value of that. Okay, so only displacement constraint is 1 here because one end is being fixed. Here the load is being given, so that much load is the P is a certain magnitude load and it is having a tensile load. So this is one constraint which is being given, and this is one more constraint, that is one displacement constraint, one more is the load constraint which is being given. So you have two constraints. So what you have to do is from this you have to take two constants. From this you have to take two constants. So u is equal to, I will be assuming a0 plus a1x. So these are the only two constraints. As it has only two constraints, I will be taking two constants. So you have to select the model in such a way that it has to satisfy the boundary condition. One end is being fixed, one constraint, one end load is being applied, one more constraint. Okay, so we'll be selecting in such a way. So a0 plus a1x. So from this we need to apply the boundary condition and check whether any of the constants can get eliminated. Understand this? Whenever we have taken these two constants, we have to find out those values because u is a field variable. Field variable means where I want to find out the displacement of the body. So when I want to find out the displacement of the body, the displacement is a function of a unknown parameter and a function. So that is a x. So unknown parameters are a0 and a1. Function will be x. What is a function means? U is directly proportional to the x. How the length is changing? U is changing. So here it was 0, at x is equal to L, it has certain value. For that case, we have assumed this displacement function. So can we simplify this? We need to check. So we have to see what are the boundary conditions for this particular problem. So one end is fixed. One end is fixed means at x starts from this particular end, x is 0 here, x is L here. So I'll take at x is equal to 0, at x is equal to 0, what is the value of displacement? Displacement is always 0. At x is equal to 0, there is, as it has been fixed end, the displacement will be 0. So if I substitute x is equal to 0, 0 a0 plus 0. Okay, what you will get? A0 is equal to 0. A0 is equal to 0. So this is how you will be getting the value of A0 here. A0 is getting eliminated and you got the value of A0 as 0. So next what I will do is, I will try to get the value of, I will try to apply the one more boundary condition, that is at x is equal to L. At x is equal to L. So if I just see at x is equal to L, what is the value of u? U is u1. Already we know that. Already we know that u has a certain displacement which we call it as u1. So if I substitute the same thing in this particular equation, u will be u1 is equal to a0 plus a1. At x is equal to L I have taken, so it will become a1 L. A1 L. So you know that U1 A naught is how much? 0 plus A1 L. Okay, A1 L. So wherever U1 comes, I will be writing it as a A1 L. A1 L. So now I have to substitute these values, this displacement function. Now we have calculated what is A naught by applying the boundary conditions that at x is equal to 0, u is equal to 0. So if I apply that, I will be getting A naught is equal to 0. So once again, if I take the another boundary condition at x is equal to L, u is equal to u1. There is a displacement because of the application of the load. So if I do that, I will be getting u1 is equal to A naught plus A1L. With respect to this, u1 will be A1L. So now we will be substituting these values in the potential energy functional equation. So if you see this potential energy functional equation, there is one more term called as dou u by dou x. Okay, dou u by dou x. It is nothing but the partially differentiation of u with respect to x. So if you see u here, a naught is already 0. We remains with a1 x. So I will solve that also. So we will rub this problem definition. Okay, so if you see there, we require dou u by dou x. So you have already u is equal to a naught plus a1 x. Okay, so if you see, already I got a naught value. So a naught is 0, so it remains u as a1 x. So I have to differentiate it to get the value of dou u by dou x. So if you substitute, if you do the differentiation of dou u by dou x, that is differentiation of u with respect to x, you will be getting as a1. Okay, so now you got the value of dou u by dou x. Whatever the one more term was, it is u1. You have already got the value of u1. So we'll just substitute the values. So that will be the third step, substituting the displacement function into potential energy function, So if I do that, what I'll get? Pi is equal to AE by 2 integration 0 to L. Dou u by dou x square is there. So dou u by dou x is A1 and dou u by dou x square will be A1 square. Okay, into dx minus P into what is u1? u1 is nothing but a1l. Okay, a1l. So this is the substitution, we have got it. So as we have an integration term here, we will just solve that integration and we will get the solution out of it. So just I'll rub this one. Okay, so pi is equal to AE by 2. So integration of dx, we have to do the integration of dx here. So a1 square remains as it is. Dx integration is x. The limits are 0 to L minus P a1 L. Okay. So if I put the limits, so what you will get? AE by 2 a1 square into L minus P a1 L. So this is pi. So this is the simplified form of the potential energy function. So then what we will do is, we will be continuing with the fourth step, that is we have to minimize the potential energy function. So if I minimize the potential energy function, I will be getting the value of the unknown parameter, that is A1. So what I will do is, I will write down the fourth step, minimize the potential energy functional. Okay, so I will minimize the potential energy function. How to minimize this? So we have already seen from the springs problem, whatever the unknown parameter is there, I will be differentiating with respect to that partially and equating it to 0. So whatever the unknown term is there is A1 term. So what I will do is, dou pi by dou A1 should be equal to 0. Dou pi by dou A1 is equal to 0. So if I do that, what I'll get, just check it out. Okay, so dou pi by dou A1 is equal to 0. This equation has to be differentiated partially and equated to 0. So I'll be solving that. So AE by 2. So A1 square will be 2A1 L minus PL. Okay, so capital letters and small letters don't get confused. It is length of the bar. So if I do that, I should be equating it to 0. 2 gets cancelled. So it becomes AE A1L should be equal to PL. So LL gets cancelled here. So A1 is nothing but by P by AE. So A1 is nothing but P by AE. So what they have asked is, they have asked to show that U is equal to P by AE into X. So if I see the previous equation, if you refer the previous equation, U was equal to A1X. U was represented as A1X. So if I just substitute the value of A1, it is P by AE into X. P by AE into X. So this is proved. So we have proved the value of U, which is equal to P by AE into X. Next, what they have asked is, they have asked to find out the value of strain as well as stress. So what is strain? So if I see strain, strain is nothing but dou U by dou X. Dou U by dou X. So if I see what is the value of dou U by dou X, it is nothing but it is A1. So if you see epsilon, what is dou U by dou X, it is nothing but A1. A1 is the value P by AE. P by AE. So if you see the value of the units here, if you just check the units, it is meter square, it is Newton per meter square, gets cancelled, it remains Newton here, and the load is also Newton. So strain doesn't have any unit in this equation, so hence it will be proved here. So strain is P by AE. So next comes the stress parameter. Stress is equal to E into strain. Stress is equal to E into strain. So E, I'll write it. I have got the value of strain, that is P by AE. So if I just cancel out the term, so stress is nothing but P by A. So we have got the solution for stress. So this is the total solution for the first problem, where a bar is being subjected to a load P and which has a length L and area E and Young's modulus E. So first what we did the formulation of potential energy function, which is combination of strain energy and work potential. After that we reduce the what is strain energy and what is work potential for this particular problem. After this we assumed a displacement function which will satisfy the boundary condition. What is the displacement function? What are the constants we need to assume? It has two constraints. One is the displacement constraint, one is the load constraint. The displacement constraint, as one end is been fixed, we will be considering it as a displacement constraint. One end is been applied load, we will take it as a loading constraint. So we have two constraints, so we will be taking two constants in the displacement function. So that is A0 plus A1x. So after that we have applied the boundary conditions, then we got the values of A0 and A1 we kept as it is and simplified it in the form of a potential energy functional. Then we minimize this function with respect to A1. So we got the value of A1. With respect to A1 we got the value of U and stress and strain. Okay, hope you understood this particular problem. In the next class we will be solving the problem with a surface load. Thank you.